Well, with that, everybody, we have seen what Montreal looks like. We know what Arizona looks like. It's just a matter of seeing who wins the cup. And the answer was Montreal. They pull off the double as the Laval Rocket also win the Calder Cup. Montreal wins it. Winning in 6 games. The Habs beat New Jersey in 5, the Islanders in 6, Tampa in 6, and then the Coyotes in 6. Again, we kind of have a general idea of what their team looks like, but it was Brendan Gallagher, Caulfield, Suzuki, Toffoli. Like, I mean, they got some phenomenal offensive efforts. Absolutely. I mean, Nick Cousins put up 17 points, for God's sakes. Carey Price rocking a 917. But he finally gets his cup. He finally gets his cup. So 3 years in, we've seen 2 Canadian teams win cups, as well as the LA Kings. McDavid won the Art Ross, as well as the Hart. Tyson Barrie won the Norris. Nikita Kucherov the Bing. McCarthy won the Calder. No surprise. Gallagher won the Conn Smythe. Bassey the Vezina. Price to Jennings. Dahlin the Masterton. Jack Adams to St. Louis's coach. Crosby won the Selke, McDavid to Ted Lindsay, and Draisaitl to Rocket Richard. In the AHL, Matt Highmore put up the most points in the league. He was also league MVP. Nolan Foote scored the most goals. Top rookie was, actually, I don't know if it's Danil Zhilkin, Dimitri, I don't remember. Vero was the top defender. Top goaltender, Yaroslav Halak, and the MVP of the playoffs was Tyler Bozak for the Rockets. That brings to a close a very, 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 very heartbreaking trophy. And yes, the Calder Cup did go to Laval. It did indeed. So the lottery is up next as Washington moves up from 6 to number 1. We didn't really have a stake in the lottery. Washington might have just found their next Ovechkin. In terms of retired players, Corey Perry, and there was someone else who retired that we got a quick look at. Chris Letang retires. If it wasn't for that grenade of a pass in overtime earlier in the series that cost us a prior overtime game, who knows? A lot of what-if moments as Jonathan Quick also retires in our AHL system. Fair enough. Milo, what's going on, man? Craig Anderson and Michael Frolik become scouts, and that will bring us to the draft. Well, we have some decisions to make. Rask's deal will be up. Ian Scott's deal will be up. Chernak, Vince Dunn, Aho, Gensel, Bergeron, Tarasenko, Eberle. We went all in. We went all in this year. Stamkos, Pasternak, Pedersen, Lafreniere. All potentially guys hitting the market. Moritz Seider. He'll be an RFA, but still you never know. Connor Hellebuck might also be out there. Carter Hart could be out there. We go to the draft. No game plan because you never know, and no teams really want to move. Winnipeg at 5 is interested in moving. Problem is, I wouldn't, well, I don't know, Boumedienne, our scouts did a god-awful job this year. Jesus. I mean, trading up for a top 5 pick if we have the ability to do so isn't the worst case scenario. The problem is, we don't have a draft pick until the 4th round because we went for it. Boy, did we go for it. I don't know if I'd want to move Brandstrom, but man, in the playoffs, he did disappoint. He had as many points this year in 17 games as he had in the first round last year. But he is 24. Or excuse me, yeah, he is 24. Still young. And then from there, obviously, it gets to be questionable. Guys like Gensel and Aho do have trade value, even though we'd be dealing away their rights. There's not much we can do in this draft, if we're being completely honest. There's not much. We could trade away the rights of the veterans for lower draft picks, of which we already have. Really doesn't make much sense to do so. I think at this point, we're just going to make those late draft picks and see what happens. If I lose anybody, then so be it. But we don't have the value to trade up either. So pick number 121 represents our first of the draft. So again, Platt was a franchise player for the Caps. Winnipeg ended up getting a 78 rated defender. Big swing and a miss there for the Hurricanes in terms of potential. So Lord knows if we have anybody. Yeah, he's a bust, apparently. Why is he a bust? He had a 921 save percentage. I might go for that guy. I don't care that it says he's a bust.
Oh, good
really
for you!
Steiner man. We're talking Rick, Scott, Rex. We won't talk Braun Breaker. Gustavo Cole. Could also be half decent. Can't be a bust from Iserlohn. That's what I'm saying. There's also Novoseltsev a little bit later on. No defined weaknesses, though, for Novoseltsev. That's promising. Ola Lindgren, also no weaknesses, but really no positives. Which is a real interesting one. Also glad to know goalies still exist. You know, there's something about Kretschmann. I'm intrigued. I'm going for him. And it was a medium backup. Yeah, we got a few picks right down the road, so it's not a big deal. I guess we can trust that busts are busts. From there, God, who the hell do we go with from there? Yasina. Great skating, no weaknesses. Interesting. You drafted a bust. Yeah, why not? I think we might just go for Dylan Yasina. Got interesting grades. As does Yuri Kulich, who is an overager. He's a confirmed low 9, though. Or very close to it, because apparently I can't tell the difference in shades of colors. Anybody else who has decent grades? Gustavo Cole did. Good skating from Mari Ayakola. You get into the goalies. For the hell of it, Dylan Yasina. I'm going to go for it. I want to see how good this guy is. Low 9. Well, there you go. Kids, as you've learned, never take risks. We'll take Gustavo Cole next. Who was a medium bottom 6. Jesus, we are making absolutely nothing of these draft picks. We got to pick 157. It's been rough. There is Jalen Edwards, 17-year-old. Can't necessarily trust what it's selling there. There also would be Callie Enland. Mason Wolf as best guess. Stuart Roy, Stuart Waugh. I was hoping that'd be Gordon Ramsay. It was not. I mean, there's a lot of guys coming up in this draft who, I mean, it's best guess and wishful thinking. It really is. Don't really trust that Jalen Edwards will be that good. Let's go for Callie Enland. Low bottom 6. Jesus, this was the wrong draft to have a lot of late picks. There is a confirmed low elite in Leon Renz, though. And we will take him. Take the German. 60 overall. And that brings us, we have 2 picks, including the Mr. Irrelevant selection. Semyonov, there's no way. There's no way he's going to be good. Not a chance in hell. Let's go for it here. Yeah, low bottom 6. And Mr. Irrelevant this year might as well be the high backup goalie, Norm Camilleri. It was a 49. So it was a god-awful draft, as you would expect, because we didn't have a pick in the first 3 rounds. We elect to hold on to negotiating rights with our veterans to see kind of how this team's going to shape up. AJ, I can't say I did. So we have $48 million in space. Ian Scott will be qualified. Anton Bibo will be dropped. And our really top prospect of a goalie in Holden will be signed. We can also sign Negrin in goal. Schlemko, unfortunately, can be cut. He's just not going to make it. So 1, 2, 3, 4. Scott's looking for a dirt cheap contract that we'll go ahead and sign him to. Remember Topi Laxton? I do remember Topi Laxton. Goddamn a legend as a defender playing forward. So the big question is whether or not we go for Tuukka Rask. He's honestly not looking for that much. The big question with Tuukka is whether or not there's anybody out there who's going to be better. There is a chance that Connor Hellebuck hits the open market. Otherwise, it would have to be Ottinger or Hart as UFAs, if not bringing back Marc-Andre Fleury. Or Chris Drager, for that matter. We'll have to make that decision if Rask is the guy. Tuukka was great for us. It's just the team ran out of steam at the end. Boy, where have I heard that before? On defense, Eric Chernak was a beast of a defender. Wants 5x5, almost $6 million. That's not that bad. Vince Dunn also looking for $5 million, but man, he's down to an 82. So the fact that Vince Dunn is looking for as much as Eric Chernak, Vince Dunn's gone. There is no way. Like, he had a good season. Back-to-back 30-point years for Vince. But there is just no way. He's not in a morale crisis. I cannot justify paying Vince Dunn that much money. The 85% trick does work. Obviously, it works better for RFAs. So I hate to say it, but yeah, we'll confirm that Vince Dunn's on the way out. It's obviously going to make people unhappy. Matt Irwin will let go of. We'll qualify Samuelson. That's going to piss off a lot of people, those particular moves. Let's go ahead and sign Samuelson as an AHLer. Kasparaitis is up to a 76. We'll qualify Crawl. We'll qualify Kjorth. What is the cap? I'll show you in a second. Salary cap is $93 million. $93 million. Ellington, Curry, Holloway, Leitonen, like all these guys are just trash. Complete swing and miss picks that we'll let go of. So Eric Chernak, honestly, for that money total, it's solid. It is. And we'll go 5x5 for 5 years, and I'm okay with that deal. For the forwards, Aho's not interested in re-signing, and to be honest, he wasn't even that good for us in the playoffs. He wasn't. Gensel was solid. Tarasenko was solid. You can have some doubts about Bergeron and Wilson. Jordan Eberle as well. Nate Schnarr, I'm not opposed to holding on to. I'm going to go 1-2-5 for him. Stephen Lorentz, we can get rid of. He was a tack-on. Trotter, not that bad as a medium top 9. We'll sign him. Raymond, unfortunately, low bottom 6. Like, the overall potential, or the overall age isn't that bad. Bradford's kind of trash, but we'll still sign him. Hokkanen is definitely not good enough. Gerard's definitely not good enough. Okay, let's sim to the first day here. Chernak is back. Samuelson, Scott, Krall, Schnarr, Hjorth, Holden, Bradford, Negron, Schroeder. Okay. So that leaves Rask and the big boys up front. Aho is gone. Sebastian Aho is looking for about $12 million a season. He's not willing to negotiate, and he only put up 6 points. So Sebastian Aho is going to prove to be a rental. Jake Gensel wants $9.5 million. Had 20. Fuck, he's probably worth it, man. We're gonna have to consider that. Patrice Bergeron wants $7 million. I love Bergie. He was solid, but $7 million's a risk. It's a big risk. Tarasenko wants $9 million. Not good enough. I'd rather pay Gensel than play Tarasenko. Tarasenko wasn't bad, but I think we dropped Tarasenko here as well. I think Gensel's the guy to keep. Jordan Eberle, love him, have his jersey. He's not looking for that much money. At a 44-point regular season, but only 5 points in the playoffs. And then Tom Wilson is a meme. He's looking for $4 million. Honestly, it wasn't that bad in the playoffs. I think the moves, to be honest, are to drop Bergeron and Tarasenko for now. And that will still give us plenty of money to work with. Yeah, I'm not even going to check the free agent list again. I think we have our moves. I think we do. For the moment, he was good enough. We're going to look to re-sign Tuukka Rask. And if Hellebuck's available, that certainly changes the plan a little bit. We're going to look to bring back Jake Gensel. That deal would have him signed until he's 35. But he was phenomenal in the playoffs. Jordan Eberle, I still think can be a good depth player for what he's looking for in the middle six. And then honestly, Tom Wilson as well. If we could get him in the middle six for about 3.5, that's not that bad. Gensel is back. Wilson says no. Eberle says no. Rask says no. We might have a lot of money to play with. Rask isn't willing to budge on his price at all. It'd have to be $6 million for 2 years. Eberle even at 3.25, I'm not opposed. Tom Wilson at 3.75, I'm also not against. Wilson rejects, Eberle does sign. Tom, show that you're willing to take a slight hit for the team and we'll bring you back. Same for Tuukka. Show that you're willing to take a slight hit for the team. Wilson resigns, Rask resigns. That still leaves us with $25 million to spend. I gotta let go of Bergeron and Tarasenko for now, because we need that money to play with in free agency. So, Aho is obviously one of the bigger departures. We got a decent amount of guys that are off the books now. But that brings us to free agency. And David Pastrnak is available. Connor Hellebuck is available. As is Ottinger, but Ottinger's an RFA. No major additions on defense. But we have the money to spend to improve. And the fact that Aho is looking for more than Pastrnak, he's looking for that center payment. Now the good thing is, despite just re-signing Tuukka Rask, I'm not opposed to trading him because, number one, It was a re-signing. It wasn't a free agent move, so we wouldn't get punished for it. I mean, Connor Hellebuck's 31 years old. There's no doubt we go for Connor Hellebuck. No one's in for him yet. You know, I want to see if paying goaltenders is worth it at all this year. He does still have his X factor. He has been pretty subpar. But you get him behind a better team, and who knows what could happen. I'm going to consider it. And in terms of prospects, there's just a handful of medium starters. To be honest, that's a damn good goalie class. We're going to take a look at the goaltending situation really quickly. So I did re-sign Negrin, but I don't think he's going to develop. 4th round pick from the Coyotes for a medium starter who's going to take a while to develop. 4th and a 7th is the highest price we have seen so far. And indeed, we'll take that 4th and a 7th from Tampa. Free up a spot to try and get somebody a little bit better. And to be honest, I think Ian Scott as well. 4th and a 7th. I get the people like Ian Scott, but man, we can get a 3rd round pick and get somebody younger who's just as good. A 3rd round pick from Dallas is the price, and to be honest, that could screw them over a little bit on Ottinger. We'll take that 3rd and the 7th. Done deal to move on from Ian Scott. Leaves Wallstead, Holden, and Rask. Which means we can send a deal to the 2 best goalie prospects since we have that deal out to Hellebuck. And fairly obvious, it's Rodriguez and Hunter Jones. Get these guys under control, and that's a good bit of depth, man. Even if it's another 3rd round pick, we do what we got to do. Hunter Jones, though, looking for a one-way deal, which is interesting. Let's see what we can do, though. On the defensive side of things, again, there was really nobody I was overly interested in. You guys like Taves, Pesci, and Tanev, who should have higher ratings, but he does people dirty like that. To be honest, we're not that bad on defense to begin with. We'll pick up Ledbedev for the sole reason that he could have trade value. And then there's Clegg, Isaac, Anderson, Korshak. We'll definitely pick up Caden Korshak as well, for the sole reason of, again, there could be trade value there. And we're looking at probably Anderson over McIsaac. And for the forwards, in terms of prospects, got a bunch of 24-year-olds. I mean, really, actually not a bunch, but it's mainly Akil Thomas and Rasmus Kupari. So I think we will send out an offer to Akil Thomas. We'll also send out an offer to Rasmus Kupari. And on defense, we'll go for Axel Anderson, former Bruins prospect, traded for, it ended up being Nick Ritchie and Andre Kasha. And from there, I mean, there's no doubt about it, we should be in the running for David Pastrnak. Player like that becomes available, you got to pick him up. I mean, he's looking for only $600K more than Tarasenko, and he's 4 years younger and 4 overall points better. Nashville and Washington are in the running. We'll offer Pasta 10x7. We'll see if that's enough. So we got some big offers out there right now. Absolutely. It's just kind of been the way to play it. We also need ourselves a new coach. AHL head coach. This guy is a phenomenal teacher. Old Terrence Stempniak. Love to be able to pick him up for the team. And I think we needed 2 scouts. I think. I'm gonna go with my gut on that one. I think it was just 2 scouts ended up leaving. It was. Alright, cool. I didn't even look, so. Well, let's find out then. Just how much this team might change. Stepniak signed as our coach. Page is on as a scout. McGillney's on as a scout. Ledbedev signs. Rodrigue signs. Hunter Jones, Akil Thomas, Rasmus Kapari, Caden Korczak. Axel Anderson rejects. He doesn't want a 2-way deal. Alright. Go back for Axel Anderson. Says he doesn't want a 2-way deal, but it's what was on the table. Give him what he wants. $24 million in the books still. Connor Hellebuck signs, but David Pasternak goes to Nashville. He just can't escape the yellow. So we now have Connor Hellebuck and Tuukka Rask in goal, which is outrageous. But we missed out on Pasternak. We could go for McIsaac. And we can also kind of wait it out to see if some of these top dogs drop their price a little bit. I mean, there's Phil Kessel, Kopitar, David Perron, Pacioretty, plenty of veterans. So for that reason, I am going to go after Jared McIsaac here. And we'll see if he's willing to accept. And we'll play it from there. Anderson does sign. So we got a lot of money tied up in our goaltending, but my God, do we have the cap space to deal with it for this season? If you can run with goaltending like that, why would you not? I mean, look at this setup. This is unbelievable. And Jones and Rodrigue are going to be scratches until we have to come to a decision. Because Wallstead and Holden will likely be the other guys. So the defense, third pairing will certainly be weaker. It won't be abysmal. And then in the forward situation, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. I mean, there's no denying, like, we can run a team. We have $17 million in cap space. We do have the money to go out, get some veterans. McIsaac signs. We got the money to go out and get veterans. It's just now a matter of waiting to see how it plays out. Jackson Van Der Leest. I'm going to have to just clear some roster spots off this team, though, really quickly. So we're getting up there. Oh, that's 6, 3, 4, 5, 6. Van Der Leest and Bernard can go, if not Dorf as well. We can get rid of this trio. Anybody with any interest in either of them? Any of them? No. Let's see if we can get like a 3rd round pick from Washington next year. Nope. Quite far off, apparently. What about a 4th rounder next year? There we go. Alright, cool. So we get rid of a couple of guys, free up some roster spots. Let's sim closer to the end of the month. And let's see who's still out there. And quite a few of the guys are still out there. Also, Jake Muzzin is out there as a defender. And I think that'd be a pretty shrewd move right now to try to get Jake Muzzin on a 1-year deal. That would certainly help out the defense a little bit. And then forward-wise, I mean, there's no denying, like, right now that our top targets should be Bergeron and Tarasenko for the sole purpose of it being a boost to team morale if these two were to come back. So we'll lowball Bergie. We'll also lowball Tarasenko at 7.5. And if those 3 sign, then we're in business. Bergeron signs. Muzzin signs. Tarasenko signs. With $3 million to spare, we are up to 50 contracts. As much as I'd love to make a play for good old Marchessault or Phil Kessel, I don't know if that's going to happen. Maybe, just maybe, there's a play for Eeli Tolvanen because they signed David Pastrnak instead. Detroit's apparently interested. We'll keep an eye out on that Tolvanen situation, but for now, we're good to sim to the beginning of free agency, or excuse me, the beginning of the preseason. But I like that. I mean, again, we saved money on all three of those players. They're just like, yeah, shit, we might as well come here. So, I'm feeling good about that. This team has rebounded relatively well after we knew we were going to take a bit of a hit. And indeed, Tolvanen is still out there. And the one-year cheese deal drops it down to $5 million. You could argue even that's not necessarily worth it. I might have to wait even longer to see what happens with him. But if we look at someone like Ackerstrom, who might be decent. Fisette hasn't even signed yet. Got some guys in the system. It's not incredible, but it's not completely barren. So the goaltending right now is Hellebuck and Rask, which is outrageous. And then Hunter Jones could technically be there. With Wallstead and Holden and Rodriguez, the depth goalie at the AHL level. It's insane. Defense, it's Brandstrom, Chernak, Larson, Alexiak, Muzzin, and Anderson. And Muzzin did regress, but we have two 81 overall guys. Kasparaitis is a 77, so we'll leave him in the AHL for another season. And we'll call up Jared McIsaac to be our depth defender. And for forwards, Sutton's now a 90. We have 10, 11, and 12, 13, and 14. We do have some decisions to make with the fourth line. Could argue whether or not we're going to get the most out of Akil Thomas, but this could also be a way to try to go for a more skill-based line. We'll send down Rubtsov. Well, let's get a quick look at the forwards here. So again, we can get a +5 with Sutton, Wright, and Gensel. That is an unbelievable top line. Unbelievable. If we were to get Tolvanen, it would drop Bergeron down to the third line, which would be incredible center depth. All right, Eberle better suits that third line than the second. As does Tarasenko, but not by much, and Matthew Tkachuk. So it gets us a little bit better chemistry for that second line. There's definitely a spot for Tolvanen. There's no doubt. Also, imagine Matthew Tkachuk and Tom Wilson on the same team, let alone like the same line. It could happen. With Patrice Bergeron. That's known as the most frustrating line of all time. But again, it does leave us without a natural option there. The fourth line, though. Pari and Thomas don't really fit that line all that well. Schnarr does. I think we'll go for a more skill-based fourth line. Unless the team changes again. So Douglas and Schnarr we'll send down for now. And Jack Dugan, who is decent at times. What if we get him in there? And see how he fits in on the fourth line. And the answer is he does not. Damn. Alright, we're still going to have to figure out the fourth line. Defensively, I'm going to want Anderson in. Chernak and Muzzin. Muzzin's definitely going to be on the third pair. He could be with Axel Anderson. We'll have Chernak, Brandstrom, Larson, Alexiak again. It's not bad. Or we could go Anderson, Alexiak, and drop down Larson. Larson and Alexiak haven't worked that well together at times. I mean, this team is just silly. I guess the real question is, before we finalize that fourth line, can we get Eli Tolvanen to help fill out this team? That is the real question, and we're going to sim a little bit ahead here. Just a little bit. And see if he is still out there or if the price has dropped. Tolvanen is still out there. Detroit's still interested. It's now down to 4.8. Let's keep an eye on it. Let's just keep an eye on it. That's all I'm saying. It wouldn't be that bad or that difficult to move to Karask right about now. Just say that Helly's our guy, and if Helly's not our guy, then goddamn, you know? But the problem isn't so much cap space. It's more an issue of not wanting to give up a ton to get Tolvanen. In terms of, wow, 2 back-to-back, 3-0 shutouts. Wow, we had 3 games. We've scored 13 goals and haven't allowed 1. San Jose finally broke that record. That was an insane start to the preseason. Tolvanen is still there. The number, I feel like, bounced back to 6.2 million. I don't know if we can plan on getting Tolvanen, but it's certainly going to be a saga. I am going to check Find a Trade in a minute to see what they think. I'm going to stop right there. So officially, for Mr. Tolvanen, 6.1 is the asking price. The argument, of course, similar to what we've done before, is can you go out and make a deal? Nashville does have 4.7 in space. They actually, shockingly, don't have Tolvanen. Wait, is he not a Pred anymore? It must, no, wait, he must have been on Detroit then the whole time. Yeah, he is on Detroit. And they are trying to trade him. And Detroit only has 1.7 available. That explains why Detroit was interested. Holden, Thomas, and Jones. Absolutely not. But there are deals that could be made here. And involving Tuukka Rask, as much as I love him, is a good idea because they could use him. They could absolutely use him. But they would be over the cap. And that's where we get in trouble. And that's why they're looking for a cheap goaltender. But I don't know if now's the time to risk. I mean, it would be the first time that we've traded someone after acquiring them. So Hunter Jones does make a lot of sense. Aside from that, we also just picked up a Lebedev. Connor, what's going on? How are you? How did the stream go? I know I can retain, but I also want to be a little bit careful with the cap. Just a little bit. Honestly, all 3 of these players I just signed. Maybe I'll take out Thomas. Kinda how'd the stream go, though? It's good to see you. Honestly, Ren's that low elite we just drafted. So Lebedev and Jones we just signed, but I'm not afraid to get rid of them now. And get our first warning about moving on from people. Especially if it means we can pick up Eli Tolvanen. Who, even if he ends up being a rental, is a pretty damn good rental. Alright, shockingly, Cole wasn't enough. Glad to hear, Connor, what were you on tonight? Team play wise. Alright. What if we use our 4th? Want to see how close we are to getting this deal done for Destiny.
I salute you.
Derry, 18 months on the Prime as well. Derry, thank you very much. How have you been as well? It's going to be expensive to get this deal done. If we add Rask, do they have a player? Just a horrible, awful contract. And the answer is yes, because they have Jesper Fast. So if I retain a tiny bit on Tuukka Rask, I keep Hunter Jones. Give you Renz and Ledbedev. I'll take on Jesper Fast's contract, because why the hell not? What are we looking at here? We have the money to pull this off. Couple of 4ths down the road. Quite far off still, huh? Where's roster string? It's not being added until December. Quite close to fair value, so it'll be Rask, Lenz, Ledbedev, and probably a 4th from Tampa for Tolvanen's negotiating rights and Jesper Fast. Done deal. We have acquired Ellie Tolvanen's rights. It does very much mean that we can run these 3 goaltenders now, and hey, hopefully they can get the job done. Jesus, adding Ellie Tolvanen makes this team that much more disgusting. Problem is, it's still registering me with $3 million in cap space, which is accurate because of that Jesper Fast contract. So now, it's time to get a little bit creative. And maybe through the find a trade, it finds me somebody for Jesper Fast. I had a feeling it wouldn't. So that is the next target. Find a team to take on Jesper Fast. And then that way we can get Tolvanen signed. So Anaheim is apparently interested. I don't know how. Maybe over the cap. Arizona. Literally a 5th rounder. No, this is going to be tough. This is going to be tough. For Arizona, literally a 7th rounder. If we add a little bit more, this should go through. We have Camilleri, the high backup, and Kretschmann. Come on. Got to be a way to get them to take this. Even give up Dodge. Still no. Let's keep exploring these options then. Trying to do this without giving up draft picks. McTaggart is not enough. Probably will have to use a pick or two. Just not giving up Facette. Not giving up Trotter. Bradford could be added, though. Done deal. All right, cool. And we get Arizona to take on Jesper Fast's contract. Really, for not all that much. Not all that much at all. So now Ellie Tolvanen. We can sign him to exactly what he's looking for. 1-year deal, he'd still be an RFA. Can we officially get Tolvanen to sign? Is the question. And let's say we do. Tolvanen, Sutton, Kachuk, Wright, Gensel, Tarasenko, Bergeron, Wilson, Yamamoto. Probably Wilson on the 4th line, Eberle on the 3rd. Which means the idea of a skill line, I'm actually going to throw away for the moment. And We're going to give Schnarr and Douglas an opportunity here to make up that fourth line. So we'll have Anderson there for the moment. We'll go ahead and leave that. Akil Thomas will be my healthy scratch in case of injuries this season. Come on, Tolvanen. Tolvanen's going to make us wait until after the season opener against Calgary, and then he signs a game that we won 5-2. Sweet. So to finalize then, what this team looks like. We'll bump up Tolvanen. 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. And then again, we'll call up Thomas afterwards. I can't afford to move on from that top 5. That +5 has to stay. Which still hurts us a little bit in terms of face-offs. I think Bergeron is still the guy. Chuck does have a 66 though, but that is a -2 because it's really lacking a playmaker. It's not bad. It's not bad at all. The question is, I mean, obviously we don't have the same level of, you know, like line chemistry that we had last year, but I mean, this is a damn good setup. I mean, God, we have Tom Wilson on the fourth line again. I thought we'd get him a little bit more of an ideal spot. Apparently not. Again, Chernak and Brandstrom is still pretty damn solid. Connor Hellebuck. I mean, God, we went from Grubauer to Fleury to Freddie Anderson to Tuukka Rask and now Connor Hellebuck. I have picked up the banner that the Vegas Golden Knights have dropped and said loyalty. Well, the one that they've carried and said loyalty. To hell with your loyalty. We're here to win. Yet we still haven't. Sorry, Danny Vegas. Oh, man. But yeah, Wallstead and Holden in goal is just gross. AHL team should be fantastic again. The NHL team should be fantastic again. It's just a matter of whether the hell or not this team wants to actually not blow it in the playoffs now. It's pretty much what it's down to.